Christmas on the square, everybody's there, laughing, singing, joy bells ringing, smiles are everywhere.
Coats and hats and such as that, and thermal underwear.
Trees aglow and
mistletoe.
It's Christmas on the square.
I need some mistletoe.
It's all about caring, love and compassion. Better to give than receive. Now that is the true fact. Those that don't know that, well, they are the poorest indeed.
Gotta get out of this town. There's no reason to wait around. Forget the past, be free at last. Gotta get out of this town.
Hello and welcome to Book versus Movie. This is a podcast where we read books that have been adapted into movies and then we try to decide which we like better, the book or the movie. I am Margot P. of CologneBook.com and this is my good friend and co-host, Margot D., our Brooklyn Fit Chick.
Hi, everyone.
I don't need exfoliant for this face off. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
This was such a great idea. Thank you, Margot.
So much fun. Okay, we're going to get into Christmas on the Square. We did warn you last week that this might be the Christmassiest Christmas movie we've ever Christmased on this show. But before we get to that, we still need an idea for this month. We always do holiday movies in December. So if you have any ideas, any suggestions, here are the rules. It's called Book versus Movie, but this is not based on a book today. I'm just telling you right now. We do a brand new episode every single week. We started that when the pandemic started, and so we had to kind of expand what we mean when we say book. We will consider any movie that has been adapted from any literary source. Could be a nonfiction book, could be a magazine article, could be a play, could be a short story. In this case, it's going to be a song. We've done songs before. Actually, we've even done a Dolly song before. So if you have an idea for, during this time of year, there's a lot of holiday songs that sometimes get adapted. And we might, maybe there's one we haven't thought of. We're going on 10 years of doing this podcast. So we've done a lot of holiday movies. But anyway, if you want to make a suggestion or just meet other people who listen to this podcast or interact with us, there's a few places on the internet where you can do that.
We have a basic Facebook page. Be sure to like it. But we are very interactive in our Facebook groups. You type in Book VS Movie Podcast Group in Facebook and ask to join. And then we just talk about books and movies there and old-time movie stars and things like that. There are also two of the posts at the very top. One is a list of shows we've done before, and then one is a list of ideas. And we just, like Margot said, we just ask that it be on a major streaming app so we can actually see it. We can't buy DVD. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. We're on all of the things for social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, at Book versus and Movie. Also Threads. I'm trying to build up our Threads community. If y'all can follow us there. Book versus a Movie. You spell that all out in those places. We have an old-timey email if you want to reach us. Book versus Movie Podcast at gmail.com. And if you would like some stickers, just send us your address and we will drop them in the mail for you.
And if you enjoy even more bonus material, we have a Substack newsletter that just started. Look for bookversusmovie.substack.com. It is free. I'm still working on last week's. I've had a lot. I've been traveling a lot.
This week was travel crazy for Margot, up and down California coast.
A little nuts. Yeah, covered the whole state. So I'm back and I'm catching up on my newsletter for last week because it was a really interesting. There was some really cool stuff that came up when we did Bell, Book, and Candle. Also, though, I was, as I said, I think I started traveling on Sunday. It's Friday now. So I'm, a couple hotel room after hotel room. And I was like, you know what I need? I just need Dolly Parton in a sparkly white dress floating on a cloud, please. Can I just have that? I'm literally I don't even know where to begin because I'm so excited. But if you really love the show and you would like to help keep us in books and movies, you can also support us on Patreon.
Yes, Patreon. Just look for Book VS Movie Podcast. We decided that for the show, we have 2 years worth of shows in the regular feed, and we have some Christmas episodes that we'll probably keep forever, and probably Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, just because the numbers we have for that are just through the roof. I wish there were like 12 Chitty Chitty Bang Bangs we could do. But anyway, we have so many years worth of shows there, and we would really appreciate it if you joined our Patreon group. You have access to those episodes. We have a couple of very affordable options, and we literally just use the money to get the books and the movies and things like that, and the software to put the show together. So I want to give a big thank you to Lisa and Judoni for signing up for that. We really, really appreciate it. And there's going to be a whole bunch of new episodes because we're starting in a new year. So it's going to be like 22, and before that, it's going to go all up on our Patreon wall. Anyway, thank you all so much. And by the way, if money is tight, we totally understand. If you could just leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, or just repost it on social media, just tell a friend about the show, whatever, that'd be a great big help for us.
Yeah, we really listen. We're constantly surprised and delighted by your support, and it means a lot to us, and we really appreciate it. And we're going to continue to do our best to bring you as much of this as we possibly can in the new year. Now, gotta get out of this town. Can I just tell? I sing that whenever there's a lull. I got in the car just by myself, cleaning out the fridge. Gotta get out of this town. I love this movie so much. We talked about Dolly Parton when we talked. We actually covered one of her little Dolly Parton heartstrings things that she did for, I think it was also for Netflix.
Yeah, I think it was Jolene.
Jolene, which was
really good.
I'm very excited to talk about this, but I feel like we have to set the scene. So picture it, 2020, completely shut down because it is December of 2020, the really dark days of the pandemic. Nobody is going anywhere for the holidays. Nobody is traveling. Community theaters shut down. Restaurants shut down. It was nobody's regular holiday anything. And no respite in sight from the pandemic. In walks national treasure, Dolly Parton. She says, you know what, Earth, I'm going to fund a vaccine. And also, how about a musical to enjoy while you're shut down at home? It's going to be healing for your body and your heart. Here she is. She gives us a vaccine and Christmas on the Square. It is all of, there's a lot of talk, those of you who aren't in the United States. This time of year, we have this thing in the U.S. called the Hallmark Christmas movie. It's filled with tropes. There's the executive lady baddie who comes into town and she meets her old boyfriend who is now running a Christmas tree farm, and she learns the true meaning of Christmas. It's, they're not, I'm going to say it, they're not great. For the most part, they're not that good. And they very seldom have music. Once in a while, they're cheesy fun. But this is more along the lines of your community theater production that you go see during the holidays, which nobody was doing that year. So watch the thing. Christmas on the Square is a song by Dolly Parton. It was on her album Holly Dolly Christmas, which came out just before this. Mm-hmm. And but when you watch the movie at the beginning, it says based on the musical play, something like that, Christmas on the Square. Good luck finding that musical play. Yeah. If you want to produce it at your community theater, if you find it, please, I hope you do. I would love to see this produced by a community theater. That would be amazing. I mean, what can we say about Dolly Parton that has not already been said?
She has the #1 album to begin with. She's 77. She was born in 1946. It's her first rock album. And this is, by the way, the year that she got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So she decided, I better put out a rock album so she covered Prince's Purple Rain. She has Miley Cyrus on here.
Where We Will Rock You.
We Will Rock You, Joan Jett, Steven Tyler, Pat Benatar, like all these people. She's an icon, and she's been since the 1960s with Porter Wagner. I mean, y'all know about Dolly Parton. We know that she's an amazing actress on top of all of her work. She's also a philanthropic person. She's a reason why kids in Tennessee get books every year until they're like
she's
10 or
donated
something.
over 1 million books.
Yeah. She's incredible.
Yeah.
In
any one of these things.
This is right. She said that she bases this off of an album that she did in 2014, and it's called Blue Smoke. She's got like Chris Christopherson on there. She covered a Willie Nelson song, a Bob Dylan song, a Bon Jovi song, and a song that's on here is called Joy, which is what they play in the movie. And we have the lyrics to Joy. Margot and I have both been reading this. It's a poem. It's an epic, like, pick yourself up and move forward kind of poem. She's very positive. This is not a woman that wallows in the negative at all. That's not what her music's about. I mean, heartbreak, sure, but you'll get over it.
True. This is the thing about Dolly Parton that, again, if you're not from the United States, is difficult to convey. You know, she is. I don't know that there's anybody else like this in our culture, that the two extremes of right wing, left wing.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Dolly. Everybody loves Dolly. You could go to a Dolly concert. There is a drag queen. There is there's a trans couple. There's some kind of person in Amaga, something with and they're all there just screaming for Dolly. It's the one thing, literally maybe the only thing that we all agree upon.
And she's very famous in Europe, by the way.
She's famous all over the world.
In the UK, yeah, they love her. I mean, they love all of her.
But I don't know that she has the unifying power, elsewhere that she does. Maybe she does, but like it's a real and special thing.
Yeah.
Here in the U.S., the phenomenon of Dolly Parton.
We talked about Steel Magnolias. That, by the way, that's on our Patreon wall. I think Jolene is within the last couple of years, but if it not, it will go on our Patreon wall.
It wasn't that long ago.
She's a storyteller, and this is like the storytelling tradition for her is words and music. This is a woman who wrote "I Will Always Love You" and Jolene in the same day, just to prove to Porter Wagner she could write music on her own. Like, she's married to the most handsome man ever since 1966. Never had kids. Wasn't interested in that.
By the way, just this last Thanksgiving, Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit in the halftime show. We don't deserve her. We don't deserve her.
She's the gift that keeps on giving. And this story that she's talking about, and I'm trying to find the poem. I'm not going to sing this for y'all just to spare your eardrums, but here's just a beginning. I have chased after rainbows. I've captured one or two. I've reached for the stars. I had even held a few. I've always walked the lonesome valley, topped the mountains, saw a sky. I've laughed and I have cried, but I've always tried. So that's a lot of and I'll put it in our Facebook group. I mean, you could find those for yourselves, but that's pretty much her ethic. I mean, that's just her ethos. That's how she moves forward. She's a person of God. She believes in God, but she's also a person that doesn't believe in any kind of discrimination.
No.
And she
stands up for people who are being discriminated against. And yeah, she's just like relentlessly joyful, but in the best possible
sincere
way. Not in a schlocky, never in a schlocky way. In anybody else's hands, her work would be just way too much, way too sacred. Nobody would believe it. But she is just this special being that we've been lucky enough to live in the same time as. The song "Christmas on the Square" it's a very light, frothy song. It's basically just a list of Christmassy things. You know, it's turkey and stuffing and cranberry muffins, potato and gravy and peas, cakes, ham and biscuits. However you fix it, you're in for a fabulous feast. So it's just that. It's just like she's just describing as many Christmassy things as she could possibly put in a single song, and that's Christmas on the Square, the song. So she's written all of the songs for this this movie musical. So again, she'd worked with Netflix before doing Dolly Parton's Heartstrings. If you hadn't heard our episode on that, it was a series not that long ago that she did where they took some of her most well-known songs and fleshed them out into these kind of I don't know if they were full length.
I want to say like maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe under an hour, maybe just under an hour.
Yeah.
Jolene was really good though. I mean, it was really, they had really great actors in there, but it's about storytelling. She knows she has a heart. She knows how to feel, and she knows what it's like to feel lonely. She knows what it's like to feel like, oh God, I got to go through this again. Like I thought I've been through the hardest, and then something else comes along, but she's always about persevering in whatever way you need to do it. But that you're loved. I'm going to cry. That, you know, I know. Yeah, it's just and that people make beautiful mistakes. Yes. And I mean, she's just the best. She's just the best. So, and again, like yes, it's a cheesy Christmas movie. Okay, it is. But you have to understand, number one, it's Dolly, so shut up. Yes.
Number two, it's December of 2020. It is a very, very bleak time.
Did you see the clip I put in the Facebook group of Christine Baranski on live with Kelly and...
oh, yes.
You know, they're sitting 6 feet apart because they didn't have a studio audience. That's the crew laughing in the background.
That is just seeing Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square, and your character. I think we get a sense of your character there.
Really?
Yeah, I think just a hand in the air.
Are you the Lady Grinch? Yeah, and guess who's the angel who wears white and rhinestones and floats on a gurney?
DP.
How come Dolly gets everything?
Dolly Parton.
Well, actually, she's proven to be the Christmas angel. It's
She
uncanny
is.
that we shot that in Atlanta last spring, but they not this past spring, but last spring, and they said we're not releasing it in the 2019. We're going to release it this Christmas so it would be translated in 23 different languages. Wow. And it just so happens that this virus hit, and now it's the perfect movie for our time, which we're badly in need of entertainment that's heartfelt and makes people happy. But it also was released just as the news of Dolly's contribution for the vaccines. Right. So she really is the Christmas angel.
She is. She's just an angel in general.
Yeah.
There's.
And they had filmed this before there was even the pandemic. They were in Atlanta the year before. And so you could see, like, the way Christine was talking about, like, people really needed something to keep going, to find a little joy.
It was a bummer holiday season. A lot of lives had already been lost, and there were still more to come. Again, I don't think we quite had the vaccine quite yet. We were almost there, but maybe not quite yet in Christmas.
Appointments. Remember, it took months to get an appointment.
Forever to get it. And we're not going out. We're not doing any of the holiday things that we normally would do. And even if we could, we wouldn't want to because we're too sad. Yeah, it was a super, super bleak time. And I would say that, and a lot of us, myself included, like, we threw ourselves into the schlocky Hallmark movie canon just for a break. But once again, Dolly gives us light. She's talking about these same themes, but in her light Dolly way. That any child could watch. it is. It's just like with Heartstrings. It is like just a Dolly Parton song brought to life. And it is a Christmas classic. If you've not seen it, just get it. Just get it.
It's streaming everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's so easy to find.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the team that we've assembled, because this is the thing. This is what makes this. It's all in the studio. We're never ever pretending to be outdoors in the winter time. We're not even trying with that. That's fine, because it's supposed to be. It has a very stagey feel to it.
It kind of reminds me of like a 60s TV play or something, when they do those Christmas specials. Like, we're not pretending that we're outside in the woods, with Andy Williams and Willie Nelson.
No, it's all studio.
It's all studio. We accept
fine.
that. Yeah.
It's fake snow. We're fine with that. So let's talk about this team, because Dolly's not going to work with just anybody.
Well, she has Debbie Allen as the director and the choreographer.
Excuse me, just Debbie Allen. Just Debbie Allen.
She's one of my favorite Cosby Show episodes. Is the one it doesn't age well in the fact it's like Claire trying to lose weight to get into a dress, and so she has to take aerobics classes, and then she's the aerobics instructor.
Sisters.
Yes, yeah. And her choreography you'll see all throughout the movies are very active. I'm also doing a deep dive on Carrie the musical. She did the choreography for that. Very active. She's a classic dancer and an actress.
She is. Listen, if you have no holiday plans, first of all, get this movie. Second of all, just go onto YouTube, just watch as many Debbie Allen things. Watch her performing at the Tonys. Watch her performing on Fame, of course. You and I grew up with Debbie Allen choreography. And so, we know what that looks like. Like, we know what a Debbie Allen routine looks like. We've got the high kicks, we've got the lifts and spins, we've got backflips upon backflips upon backflips.
Very acrobatic.
Extremely acrobatic and athletic. She herself is just a jaw-droppingly talented, tireless performer. I mean, I can't even, her performances. The Tonys one in particular. There's like a couple of Tonys ones that she did that is.
She did one about Gypsy. She did like a tribute to the musical Gypsy, which is once again, like you said, jaw dropping. If you see you can find clips on Carrie, the musical, the very first episode, the first scene is these women's in aerobics class, basically singing and doing aerobics. And I don't know how they do it. They must have been exhausted, because she's like you said, high kicks and jumps. Yeah. It's very energetic. And and she's been directing since, I believe it was A Different World is when she started doing TV directing.
I think so. Yeah.
So she also has that, thing about her. Like, she's the boss. Like, you could tell that she's somebody that can rally, but has a lot of spirit about her herself. We have let's say we'll talk about this, and then we'll play the trailer, and then we'll talk about the plot of the movie. Okay, so we have the screenplay is Maria Schlatter, who's George Schlotter's daughter or granddaughter?
Daughter, I think.
And he was the guy that created Laugh-In. He produced a lot of television shows. So there's a lot of humor going on in this thing. I love this cast. It's very multiracial, multi-ethnic. And it never feels like it's cheesy. It just feels I want to live in this place. Everyone's nice.
Everybody is living in beautiful, perfect harmony, all colors, all shapes, all sizes, all religions, all points of view. And this whole town is absolutely perfect. They have only one problem, and it's Christine Baranski.
Yes. National treasure, Christine Baranski.
Another one.
Yes.
I mean, it's production.
So we've got... I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dolly Parton. We have Jenifer Lewis. Oh, my God. She's so good.
Wait. So you have these numbers. Okay, and Dolly Parton is in this, and she's singing, and Christine Baranski is in this, and she's singing. And then Jenifer Lewis is like, hold my beer. And then every time she opens her mouth, she steals the whole show. But then we've got these other folks, like some of whom I'm not very, I'm not a Broadway.
Yeah.
A lot of them are unfamiliar to me. Josh Segarra, I know. He plays, okay, we got to try not to laugh. He plays Pastor Christian. That is his name. Pastor Christian. Josh Segarra, I know mostly from the reboot of Electric Company because it was on when my daughter was.
Oh, really?
Little. Yes. So he was on Electric Company, and we'll get back to him in a minute. And then we have, Treat Williams. It just.
I got to meet him.
You did?
I did some on-set publicity work for The Principal 2, which was the follow-up to The Principal, and he was that was his gig. He was very handsome and very, very sweet. Smart as a whip. Like, you could tell this guy...
So talented.
Knew his stuff. Like, it was a very
bright.
sharp person. But I loved older Treat Williams. That was just like, I'll do anything, and I'm...
Treat Williams.
Oh, so relatable.
How did he get better? How did he get even better?
It's when...
First of all, Younger Treat Williams, for those of you... He's aptly named. For those of you who have never seen Younger Treat Williams,
he was a snack.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Super talented. He can do the whole thing. He can sing. He can dance. He is an amazing actor. He got hit with the fame mallet kind of early on, and it kind of derailed him a little bit. He's very open about talking about his issues with drugs and alcohol, and it was a lot for him to deal with. And then, fortunately, he was able to overcome it, and we got this whole wonderful, later, older, wiser, hotter Treat Williams.
He was like on the Tommy Lee Jones path. Mm-hmm. That dark hair, very serious. I think he went to Harvard as well. He was in Smooth Talk, which maybe we'll cover one of these days. But he's got this very dark thing about him. And then he just opened up his heart and just let himself be kind of silly and fun and warm. And it makes him, you just want to give him a hug when you see him. And this world is just not as great without him in it. And it's so sad that he passed away this year. That was one of the ones that I was like, no, please, no.
It was a gut punch for sure. Yeah, he was, I think it was a motorcycle accident, right? It was just a sudden fluke.
There's a traffic accident. It happens, unfortunately. Then that's Janine Mason, who's really amazing. And then Mary-Lane Haskell. Oh, she's so good.
I think she's super good. Okay, now, first of all, Janine Mason, I'd never heard of before. Forgive me if she's I think she's maybe my favorite person in this whole production. I just think she's so good. I love her voice. And then, yes, Mary-Lane
Haskell.
Okay. Mary-Lane Haskell, also an amazing voice. So she's been featured in, Mary-Lane Haskell has been featured in Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square, Dolly Parton's Mountain Magic Christmas, Dolly Parton's Christmas of Many Colors, Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors, and one of the Dolly Parton's Heartstrings. So if you're a Dolly fan, you're probably also a Mary-Lane Haskell fan.
I think they all need to be put on our list for future episodes. Coat of Many Colors is one of my favorites of my Dolly classics.
Can you not cry?
No.
I can't hear that. I can't
read those lyrics. I'll bawl.
I can't even get through the whole song. I just can't. I cannot.
Should we
play the little picture of her in the coat? Stop it.
Should I play the trailer?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the trailer for the movie.
Christmas is a time for caring, being at your best. Christmas is a time for sharing, knowing you've been blessed. There are the haves and the have-nots, and you could be either one.
Who are you?
Well, Angel.
What do you want from me?
Change.
What you're doing now is such a low blow, demolishing the lives of all the people you know.
The deadline to be out of your homes is now Christmas Eve.
Gotta get out of this town.
Christmas on the Square.
There's no reason to wait around.
Everybody's there.
I know in time I'll lose my mind if I don't get out of this town.
Angels fly 'cause they take themselves lightly. Angels glow and they shine so brightly. You find that light and it will lead you to the part of you you lost.
What might that be?
The part that can be happy. Christmas is a time for caring, being at your best.
Christmas is a time for sharing, knowing you've been blessed.
Christmas is a time for angels, making things all right.
Oh, what joyful bliss! That's what Christmas is.
Christmas on the square.
The plot of this is like a plot of a lot of Christmas movies. It's a small town. Big business wants to come in, buy everybody out to bring in a mall.
Wait.
Sorry.
Okay. We have to, okay. Let's just establish we love this movie.
Yes.
We love this movie. We love Dolly. We love everybody in it. But it's a schlocky Christmas movie. So there. So there are tropes is what we're saying. So we have ideal town in, I think it's Kansas. We're supposed to be in Kansas. And does it snow in Kansas?
Of course, yeah.
Family from Kansas. Yeah, I guess so. So the town was owned and set up by Christine Baranski's late father. He has died about 6 months before the start of the action. As we said, this is a town with zero problems. Everybody gets along. All of the businesses are successful. They have a thriving Main Street. They had a black woman mayor, Jenifer Lewis. Everything's great. But Christine Baranski, who's grieving her dad, has to get out of this town. She can't deal with it. And she has decided that she's made this unilateral decision that she's going to sell the town to a real estate conglomerate, the Cheatham Mall conglomerate, the Cheatham Mall. Get it? Cheatham Mall conglomerate. And so she's going around and evicting. She and her assistant Felicity are going around passing out eviction notices to their beautiful, perfect Debbie Allen backspring Christmas celebration. Even her best friend, who runs, Jenifer Lewis, the former mayor of the town, who runs the beauty shop where much lively dancing happens. So she's going around just ruining everybody's Christmas, and that is and we're off.
So Dolly Parton is we would say an unhoused person who's
a very glamorous unhoused person.
Nary a smudge on her cheek.
Yes, with only a few layers of cashmere to protect her from the winter cold.
And she has a box and says donations, or it says giving. It says something. Change maybe says change, like I'll take your change. And Christine Baranski, of course, scoffs at her and says no and takes off. And so, but Dolly is like, I'm going to change you one day. I'm going to change you. She's, pointing that finger. Treat Williams is her old boyfriend, Carl. He's really sweet. They had a thing. They were young. They were very, hot and heavy. And then it just didn't work out.
It fell apart, but we don't know why just yet.
We don't know why. So Brandon Hudson is Randy. Who's Randy?
Randy is the really great dad who lets his little girl tend bar.
Oh, right. Okay. I also need to say that I also discovered Trixie Mattel and Trixie and Katya do a thing where they review stuff, and Netflix hired them to do a review of this show, and it's the funniest 20 minutes I've ever heard in my life. I was howling.
Oh, and spoiler alert, if you haven't figured out, we actually watched the show on this show where we watched the show. So don't ruin it for yourselves. So we have Dolly Parton portraying a person in between living situations, but I'm sure she's gonna do it very flawlessly. And we have other gay icon, Christine Baranski, playing sort of a Scrooge McDuck character who wants to evict people around Christmas.
Get out of here.
I love Christine Baranski.
Me too.
Icon. Oh my God, let me get my Dolly Parton heartstrings tissues just in case something happens.
Let me get mine. I'm gonna get mine too, hold on.
Got it.
Me too.
Dolly Parton sent me these after the Heartstrings episode, and they're tissues that say Dolly things that says, when I'm feeling a little low, I put on my high heels.
I think that's so beautiful.
And look, I got my Dolly Parton doll for this moment.
Oh, wow.
I mean, she doesn't look exactly like her, but it's pretty good, right?
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Love and compassion.
Yeah, there's a whole thing where Christine Baranski, like, she's going to throw everybody out, and she can't understand why everyone's not just going along with it. And it's the script is smart because she says, "Oh, I'm giving them a ton of money," and Jenifer Lewis is like, "It's not going to really help them. It's not going to really help them move to someplace else and start all over again. It's not nearly enough." She's not getting it, and then she's in the hotel bar, and there's a 10-year-old behind the bar who's just
Who
making
is
drinks.
the cutest child ever? Like, she's so cute, and she can really sing. She's a super good little actor, and I really love. I mean, just get over the fact that she's a child tending bar. Okay, you're just going to act like that's a perfectly normal thing. It's fine because her dad has to be okay. Pastor Christian and his wife, whose name is Jenna. Pastor Christian and Jenna are hosting a town meeting at the church to stop Regina, or as Pastor Christian calls her, Regina Fuller. Okay, I just have to talk about this for a second because this was driving me crazy. I have two beefs with this movie. Really, only two beefs. Number one, not enough Treat Williams.
Right.
I feel we've underused the treat. And the second is, what is up with Pastor Chris? Like, why does he talk like this? My darling, I'm so glad you're here. It's really weird. And as I said, I saw that he was the guy that used to be in Electric Company, and I was like, oh, let me go look at. And I've seen him in other things. He was in Orange Is the New Black. He was in this show called AJ and the Queen. Did you watch AJ and the Queen?
Mm-mm.
It's RuPaul. Not that long ago. It was kind of a fun series with RuPaul, and he plays RuPaul's really bad boyfriend. The thing is, he has a, I think, rather sexy and very strong New York accent. So I don't know why we couldn't just have him have the accent, because we've established he was adopted. Why could he not be adopted and grow up in New York? I do not know. So I think we're maybe trying to compensate for the New York accent for some reason. Jenifer Lewis gets to have her. I mean, I don't know why we don't get to have an accent, but okay, fine. So it's strange. It's odd. It's an odd choice, I feel. And it kind of disrupts the what otherwise would be okay chemistry between him and the woman who plays his wife. So those are my two beefs about the show. So anyway, Pastor Christian is having a town hall meeting for them to decide how they're going to stop Regina Fuller. And
he and his wife are trying to have a baby.
He and his wife are trying to have a baby.
And he's like, it'll be okay. We'll adopt. Whatever way our family will be. We're like, oh, there's a lot.
The baby we always wanted. So Regina goes to the meeting and they're all upset. There's this weird song. It's great and weird. I love it because it's so weird. They sing this song about how they're going to like kill her.
Queen of Mean?
No, Wicked Witch of the Middle. Queen of Mean is the one that Jenifer Lewis sings when she's over. So here's how bad Regina Fuller is. Regina Fuller hands out eviction notices to everybody, including her best friend at the beauty shop, and then says to her best friend, oh, by the way, come to my house to do my hair tomorrow. So Jenifer Lewis goes to the house to do her hair, and it's a great number because it's Jenifer Lewis and Christine Baranski. I mean, they could be singing the phone book and it would be exciting. It's a great, great number. But the number at the church with the town meeting is called Wicked Witch of the Middle. And it's a little disturbing. It gets I think they want to kill her. They go to church to plan how to kill her. And so she shows up and they basically like run her out of there. And so she goes to this bar, which is tended by a child. Okay. We're fine with that. That's not the important part. The important part is they really connect. And turns out that the little girl has lost her mom. So Regina lost her mom at a young age. This little girl has lost her mom at a young age. And so they have this, it's a really cool scene. I think her and this Christine Baranski and the little girl have a really great back and forth. I really am buying it. We learn that the little girl's dad, who is at the meeting, that's why she's tending the bar, he blames Regina Fuller. She doesn't know that this woman is Regina Fuller. She's telling this woman that her dad blames Regina Fuller for the death of her mom. And it's this story about like something, the little girl was sick, right? The little girl was sick and the mom has gone out to get medicine and she's in a car
wreck. And it's Selah Kimbra Jones, I believe. That's the young actor.
The young actress.
They sing Fairy Tale.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
good.
So Christine Baranski, it's kind of pretty obvious what's going to happen, but this is a Christmas movie. We all know what's going to happen, but Christine Baranski, she meets this child, and the child mentions that her mother was killed in a car accident, and Christine Baranski's really kind of in a whirl.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Whoa. Turns out my choices impact people. I never imagined when I was passing out eviction notices.
To everybody, by the way.
Anybody's life.
Like a week before Christmas? Seriously. It's the Scrooge thing. And we've talked about Scrooge. That's always going to be in our feed, like our Scrooge episodes. But anyway, so she comes home a little toasted. She's had a rough day trying to evict people. What do you know? Dolly Parton shows up as an angel.
Felicity, can you flip the switch in the power box?
Felicity is gone for the day. You need some light.
Who are you? What are you doing here? I just pressed this emergency button, which sends a silent alarm. So if this is a robbery or a kidnapping, Officer Bryant will be here in 30 seconds.
Well, first of all, that is not an emergency button. That's a secret. And next of all, folks that get kidnapped usually have people willing to pay a ransom for them. I'm thinking this whole town would just say, bye, Regina.
Who are you?
Everybody needs an angel.
Oh my God. I do have a brain tumor.
Everybody needs a friend.
I'm hallucinating.
Everybody needs a little angel meddling.
That's why Dr. Marshall was so concerned about me.
Every now and again. And sometimes heaven sends a message to help us with our mess.
Well, if you are Heaven's messenger, then I need to change my address. So you say you're an angel? Do you have a name?
Well, Angel.
What do you want from me?
Change.
Oh, that's why you look so familiar.
Yeah, you just looked right through me when you thought I was just a homeless person. So I figured I should make a house call and do some splaining.
I don't need anyone who uses the word splainin', explaining.
Do you know why your father stood at that window every night? Your father used to love to watch the lamps being lit in the square.
And what a waste of money that was.
He wanted the square surrounded by lanterns because of his favorite story, the Scottish parable of the lamplighter.
Because there's no shortage of subplots here. Let's just say, like there are many. It's a lot of subplots, and just roll with it, okay? It's fine. So yet another subplot is Regina's doctor has been trying to get in touch with her. There's a shadow on her brain scan, which he thinks might be a tumor. So she may have a brain tumor on top of everything else. So listen. If that were me, I just lost my dad.
Right.
I didn't get Treat Williams is the one that got away. And I just found out that this little girl thinks I killed her mom. And I think I have a brain tumor. I might be a little grouchy. I would be a little grouchy. I would.
Well, so Dolly is basically, and I love it when Dolly is like, that's a secret. And she's like, Dolly can deliver.
It's good, right? I think the script is.
They're great chemistry. Those two. They're very believable. But Dolly's kind of like showing her life, And it turns out, Christine Baranski, when she was a teenager, she got pregnant. And her father, whom she always thought of as heartless and cold and judged her, they put the baby up for adoption, which is what you did at the time. You know, the teenager wasn't consulted quite often, or they were just kind of bullied into it. And she always was kind of sore about that, whatever. It turns out it was a very tough decision for her father. He really thought he was doing the right thing for her and was trying to think about her ultimate future and what would be best for the baby. Wasn't as concerned about himself or as his reputation or the family's reputation, was really more about hers. And it broke him up because that was his grandchild. And he was very, very upset about it. And so she has her moment of, oh, wow, Dad really loved me. And he wasn't the heartless person, the cold person.
Right. Okay. Well, we have to talk, though, about how she got pregnant because it's okay. Again, we're not going to laugh. We're not going to laugh. So she and Carl Treat Williams were dating. They go to a dance. They're very serious about each other, and she sees him showing a ring to another girl who laughs and claps and hugs him. And she now thinks that he is asking that girl to marry him, and makes the choice to not ask him about it. Because why would you? Just marriage. Sure. So she's devastated, and this jerky guy at the dance comes up, and P.S. now she's pregnant. She's pregnant by the jerky guy. They never had anything but this, rebound thing that happened. And then this is the part I'm not really clear about. So is her dad keeping Carl from her? Because Carl is none the wiser. Carl is like, I want to marry this girl. And then all of a sudden she's not talking to me. Her dad won't let me in the house.
I think her dad, she told him she was pregnant. And he assumed it was Carl. And he did not want her to marry him.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay. All right. That makes much more sense. So then, so the dad keeps Carl from her. She has the baby. The dad's like, give me that baby.
Bye.
Bye.
And the baby
never sees the baby.
Never sees the baby again, so she doesn't know what happens. And the baby hadn't tracked her down yet. Like nowadays, people can find out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like 20, 30 years ago, it was pretty hard to find out your adopted, your birth parents. But turns out, guess who's her son? Pastor Christian.
Pastor Christian. So she's Regina's realizing some things. So like the whole turning point is the scene with the little girl in the bar where she starts to think like, I would feel that way too if I were this little girl. I would also feel that, and she's really starting to change as Dolly has asked her to do. Dolly, by the way, is an angel.
Yes.
Named Angel. Okay. Fine.
Keep it simple.
It's Angel. And we learn Regina's executive assistant, Felicity, is an angel in training.
Right.
So here's another subplot.
There's a lot that's going on in this movie.
It's a lot. That's
everybody has a motivation.
It's because they have no crime or corruption or, discrimination. They don't have other stuff to deal with. So it's subplots on subplots. So there's also the subplot about Felicity, the angel in training, and her job is to change Regina's heart, and then she will become a full-fledged angel. And again, it's a wonderful performance.
Yeah.
So good. So Regina's like realizing some things like, maybe when I saw Carl giving that ring to the girl, I should have asked about it.
I made the wrong assumption and got very upset. I was very reactionary. I shouldn't have been.
Turns out a 15-second convo would have solved the whole thing.
But then we wouldn't have Pastor Christian.
No, we wouldn't. So she's coming to terms that she's realizing like, oh, I gotta really kind of think about changing my ways. So she goes to Carl. To her credit, she goes to Carl to try to like really kind of apologize, kind of try to explain, but understandably, he's like kind of done with her because, you know, she's taken out the entire town. And he tried to talk reason to her before, and she wouldn't listen. So why should he listen to her now? He owns a general store on the square, which is more of like a consignment shop.
It's knickknacks.
Yeah, it's knickknacks, or as Regina calls it, just a secondhand shop full of broken dolls and broken dreams. And so she goes, and yeah, he won't talk to her. He's packing up. She asks for a lantern that he has, that her father had. It was a prototype, you know, because her dad owned the town. So it was a prototype for like the lanterns that were going to be in the town. And in the lantern, lo and behold, is hidden her family Bible, in which her father has written the name of her baby, the adopted name of her baby, so that one day she may be able to find him. And yes, lo and behold, that baby is Pastor Christian. So she goes to Pastor Christian. Now, Pastor Christian and his mom, oh my goodness, Pastor Christian and his wife, who he loves, they are closing. All the businesses are closing, right? They run a children's clothing store. Says they're all about the babies. And so that's where she finds them. And that's where she tells Pastor Christian the truth and shows him that his name is in her family Bible. And therefore it must be true. Because as we know.
That's how it works.
We're not laughing. You look, it's Christine Baranski.
My question, did Christine Baranski kill the girl's mother?
Arguably, yes.
Yeah.
Because
we spoil all the details, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. Arguably, yes. I mean, she not directly, but she had caused the local drugstore to go under somehow. I forget. Raise their rent, something. Some decision that she made the local drugstore close. And so the little girl's mom had to drive out of town to the drugstore to get medicine for her. And that's when she got in the car accident. So again, if I were that little girl's dad, that's how I would feel about it.
I'd be sore.
Yeah, I'd be mad. And I would be looking for somebody to blame. And that's probably how I would look at it, I think. Just roll with it. During the town meeting where they all talk about killing Regina, and right before she huffs out of that meeting, she is so angry that she tells them, okay, you all now have to be out by Christmas Eve. And out she goes, and that's when she meets the little girl at the bar. So their deadline is now Christmas Eve. So it's Christmas Eve, and of course everybody is where? Church. Because where else? Even though you're being evicted, it's still Christmas Eve and therefore church. So Pastor Christian gets up to do his Christmassy sermon, and he talks about how he had grown up as a little boy who was adopted, and there was how Regina's father, Mr. Fuller, was always at all his games, because the whole town loved Christina's father, thought he was just an amazing guy, just adored him. Pastor's talking about like, oh, he was at all my little league games, and he was always there, you know, when I graduated school and yada, yada, yada. And I just found out who my birth mother is, and da, 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 da. It's Regina Fuller, my mother. So they and then of course there's the whole like, oh, now I have to get a picture. You can't screen, what do you call?
Screen
Netflix
grab.
doesn't let you screen grab, but I'm going to find a picture. There is a guy in the church in a Christmassy sweater who has the best shocked reaction shot I've ever seen in a Christmas movie. It's genius, like no notes. And the whole town, they have pearl clutching. And now it's Christine Baranski's turn to like walk up the aisle of the church. She's wearing a white dress, you know, just perfectly, because she's been cleansed by the truth now. And she goes up and she begs the town to forgive her. She's seen the error of her ways. She was blinded by her grief. Forgive her, because you know what? Dolly Parton's an angel, and she's like right above her head with like full on wings and everything. So that means you have to forgive. When Dolly Parton shows up, like just do what she says. That's that. And so then Everybody's happy. We're backflipping in the square again. She's got, and Dolly, there's this sequence where Dolly, we forgot to talk about okay. Again, it's hard with the subplots, you guys. It's easy to lose the thread. Right before Christine Baranski, right around anyway, at some point, about 2/3 of the way in, little girl bartender is in a car accident herself.
That's right.
She and her father are in a car accident. Probably not going to make it. And she's in the hospital with the bandage on her head and the whole thing. So, and her father is in a t-shirt that's torn on just the one. Okay, this is the part I don't get. I'm not laughing. He's in a t-shirt. It's torn on, it's ripped to shreds, but on just one side. And there's a ton of blood, but just on one side. But and the daughter is so injured that she's unconscious and she's got a bandage around her head. But the one side that he's all torn up on is not the side that his daughter would have been sitting on. It's the other side. So
Maybe
I'm not
it's a
really
British
sure.
car.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand the mechanics of the accident, but she's in the hospital and she's probably not going to make it. Okay. Fortunately, though, the town has an angel that is Dolly Parton, which is like the best thing that you could possibly have.
I would love an angel like her.
Dolly Parton shows up. The guy that's the dad can really sing. Like, he's got a beautiful voice. So he's singing his heart out. You know, he wants his daughter to live. And Dolly Parton shows up because everybody needs an angel. And there she is. And she magics the life. Angel magics the life back into the little girl. And the little girl opens her eyes. And Dolly's like, well, you know, dust off her hands. Time to go. But she's not done yet. She goes over. She swoops over to the baby clothes shop. And she magics a baby into the womb of Pastor Christian's wife. And so now they're expecting a baby because Dolly's your angel. Everybody needs an angel. So when we get to the part where it's the church and it's Christmas Eve, I don't know if she knows she's pregnant yet, but Pastor Christian's wife is now pregnant. Christine Baranski has begged the town for forgiveness. They have forgiven her. She has found her baby, who is Pastor Christian. And
she's going to be a grandmother.
She's going to be a grandmother. And Carl's like, well, hey, I always wanted to be a grandfather. Don't forget about me, Carl. See what I mean by underutilized? Like, we needed more Carl, I feel. So then now we're back flipping in the square. The little girl is doing great. She's just as cute and dimply as she ever was. She's so cute.
Not a bartender anymore.
Not a bartender anymore. Christine Baranski's reunited with her baby. She's going to be a grandmother. The town has been saved. Cheatham Mall conglomerate has moved on to some other little town to destroy, I'm sure. But that town, unfortunately, did not have an angel Dolly Parton to save them. So sorry about that. Christine Baranski's executive assistant, Felicity, is now a full-fledged angel. And she is wearing the most beautiful dress I've ever seen in my life.
The costuming in this movie is great.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love the costumes. I love all their just like normal street clothes that they're wearing, but they're really secretly super dance clothes because you have to do all of the Debbie Allen handsprings and kicks and twists and lift and spins.
Her choreography, once again, athletic. Like you're tired watching it.
Exhausting. Which, again, let's reflect December of, like, how many of us put on weight during the pandemic because we couldn't go anywhere, you know?
Right.
Nobody was lifting and spinning and handspringing and dancing in the square. So it was so fun to be able to, like, do it vicariously through this movie. It's fantastic. It's a joyful explosion of Dolly and sparkles and angel wings and magic and Jenifer Lewis. Like, every single moment of Jenifer Lewis, I absolutely adore. It's absolutely iconic.
It's iconic. It won the Outstanding Television Movie in 2021.
An Emmy. It got an Emmy.
For that, and also for the choreography for Debbie Allen. And
How could you not? I think it's well directed.
It looks great. And the songs are fun. It's like just what if you're trimming your tree, writing out your Christmas cards, wrapping your presents, folding laundry. Like seriously, it's great to have on. It's just if you just need your brain needs a break, it will really help you. And it's full of Dolly music.
It's all Dolly music. It's all like you can hear. I wish there were an album. There's not. I wish there were number one, either a soundtrack album of this movie, just as is, or an album with Dolly singing all the songs.
Yeah.
Because as you hear them, like I can totally. I'm not a fan of the Treat Williams song about memories, about like, here is a bookshelf, a little girl with cancer had a tea party with
Keeper
her
of memories.
Yes.
She does have Holly Dolly Christmas, so.
Okay, I cannot stop laughing, but I must not laugh. And I mean, look, Treat Williams. But I gotta say, if Dolly was singing it, I'd be all in. I'd be crying my eyes out. But with Treat Williams, like, does go a little bit schlocky. But in general, and I think the genius move of all of the genius moves of this very fun movie, Christine Baranski. I think when you watch this movie, because it's all like, we're basically following her through the whole story, right? And so it's her and Carl. It's her and Jenifer Lewis. It's her and the little girl bartender. And because it's Christine Baranski, she's able to have chemistry with every single person that they put her with. Like the mailman. There's this mailman, like, you didn't hear it from me, but Mrs. Hamilton forgot to put figs in her figgy pudding. And I believe it.
It's a delight. It's frothy
amazing.
Delight. That's what I say.
It's so much fun. And it's so good. If we're looking book to movie and we're talking about the songs and even the poem or the what's it called?
I Try.
Which
I really like.
It's super good. But, it's just, it kind of just elevates it. And it's a Christmas movie, kind of like when we talked about Last Christmas.
Oh, God, we did that last year.
We're like, we have that Christmas movie, world, but it's a different level. Yeah. Love it.
Loved it.
Loved it. So, I so enjoyed watching it on the road.
So we're going to say movie.
Definitely movie.
Okay. So next week, we're covering a Christmas classic, Miracle on 34th Street. I think you've heard of it. I'm very excited. I haven't seen it yet. I've been waiting.
I haven't seen it yet this year.
Right. That's what I mean.
Last year.
There's two versions.
Yes.
I think we'll go for the original, right? Original recipe.
Definitely would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be for next week. But please send us your ideas, especially if you have a New Year's idea. We did Poseidon Adventure before, so we can't cover it again. But if you have any other New Year's movies you think that could work for us, let us know. Or any other movies. We have lots of stuff coming up in the months ahead. Margot, where can they find you?
You can find me online at coloniabook.com, and all my social media callouts are at She's Not Your Mama. And where can they find you?
You can find me at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's my site. That's where I am on Twitter and Instagram and Threads. And then on TikTok, I'm at Brooklyn Margot, where I posted a couple of clips from the movie. So you could check that out for yourself. All right. Once again, our email is bookversusmoviepodcast@gmail.com. Please reach out if you have ideas. We'll be back soon with the new episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Book versus Movie Podcast. We're a part of the Frolic Podcast Network. You could find more podcasts you will love at frolic.media/podcasts. You could find us on Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Book versus a Movie. Just spelled it all out. We have a Patreon page. Type in there Book vs Movie Podcast, where you can find 8 years worth of shows. You can follow Margot D on social media at Brooklyn Margot and also Brooklyn Fit Chick. You can find Margot P at She's Not Your Mama. Thank you again for listening, and please be sure to send along your suggestions for the show. Remember, the book needs to be easy to get your hands on, and the movie has to be streaming on a major platform. We will be back soon with a new episode.